All right, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vays. And of course, I went live, and I forgot to do something. I have more. I keep forgetting to change my background. It's been a lot more days, and I'm just trying to stay sane and keep track of how many days. Why is this not loading? Am I live? Hope I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. All right. I'm trying to stay sane. I'm keeping track on how many days I have in the background, and I have new images. Let me update, and then we'll go on with the show as people are trickling in. Add image. All right, I believe we are on day 114, I think, or 15. Here we are. Forgetting to update these. Oh, wait. There we go. Yes. We have 114. Boom, right there. There we go. Trying to stay updated here. Okay. Now we can go on with the show. Lots going on. The market has popped to the upside big time, and the Bitcoin market has not followed suit at all. So this is what we have to go and take a look at. I also have a lot of things to say about the new indicators. People seem to be very, very upset, and I am sorry if my honesty bothers you, but you are free to go watch other YouTubers who I don't even watch because a few of them are my friends, but I don't trust anything out there. And the only thing that built my reputation in this space is not being hypocritical and being honest with my followers, whether people like it or not. And this is probably why I still don't have 100,000 YouTube followers. So let's go to the charts. I have to look at the S&P first because that's the one that is getting all my attention right now. So here we are on a daily scale. I have lots of things to say about this, a lot. So where do we begin? Yesterday when I was doing the show, I put this red line here because the value of the S&P was down here. And there's no other way I can say it, but this candle there 2 days ago, the Monday's candle, I forget what day today is. Today is Wednesday. Monday's candle was so devastating that I was pretty I was pretty adamant. You know what? Hey, Lazy Z, I actually want to address that. I'm going to, you're saying TD Sequential not working on Bitcoin anymore. I want to address that actually. I'm going to put it in my question. Why is everything, I can't wait to buy a new computer. Oh, good. I have Bernoulli there. I'm just going to paste it, but hey, Bernoulli, if I see something in the chat, I'll just tell you to throw it in the Telegram for me so I can address it. Okay. So where do we begin by looking at the S&P 500? So let's go back to Monday. On Monday, this S&P was flying high. All the stocks were flying high. But then in the late afternoon, there was a big crash. This is the type of candle that triggers big drops in the market. And it happened right on cue with, the new MRI indicator, but it should have had a red arrow on the TI indicator as well. I can't wait to do that transition because I'm going to be confusing people for the next few months. But after the transition of the indicators comes, it'll be a lot easier for everyone. So now I'm thinking we're going down. Now, yesterday when I was doing the show, the price of the S&P was hovering around 3150, like at the bottom end of this white candle. And I drew this red line saying that, hey, I would consider shorting the S&P if we rally all the way back to this line. Did I short the S&P like my mental plan was? The answer is no, because this happened like late in the afternoon and I wasn't in front of the market. So for the same reason why I missed going short anywhere during this red candle, for the same reasons I missed going short here. Now in hindsight, missing going short at this red line prevented me from losing money. Because right now I would be in a losing position. What would make it even worse is that we have completely gapped over my stop loss. Now, I teach this specific, I teach this scenario in entries in the workshop coming up, this one, the risk management workshop. What happens if you are in a trade that gaps over your stop loss? This is one of the things that we will be spending some time on in this workshop. So without giving too much away, if I was short at this red line, would I have exited that short at a loss at the open, which is the exact same price it is right now? The answer is no, I would not. I would have removed the stop loss. Now, Tone Vays trading rule number 2 is never remove a stop loss. And now I'm sitting here on a video, and the first thing I'm telling you is I would remove the stop loss. But there are exceptions to every rule, and those exceptions are written down and explained. And this is one of those exceptions where I would drop the stop loss and let the current day develop. Now, there are additional things that are going on here. This yellow star that is forming, and people didn't like what I had to say about the stars. The stars are new. For the last 4 years that you guys have known me, and we've been talking about, you know, the indicator that I'm using, and I have to be like very careful in what I say and how I phrase it. The star part wasn't there. They were just numbers. The star part actually concerns me as well, because on the one hand, it creates this illusion that there is a perfect trading system. And on the other hand, I am still trying to find the perfect mathematical rules to put these stars in place to help me identify bullish and bearish trends. And there's two things that go on with trying to do this. So first of all, I do all my thinking while on live streams. So you guys get the unfiltered Tone Vays thinking. Now, those of you that can't handle the unfiltered Tone Vays thinking on live air, not the channel for you. I'm sorry, I hate to lose followers, but if you don't like my unfiltered thinking and how my brain works, then you should watch filtered channels that pre-record and edit. That's not what this channel does. So now, in order for me to design to my best ability, putting in these green stars and red stars that tell me when to get in and when to get out of the market, there's two things that go on here. First of all, if these stars are not very accurate and aren't very good, it would be irresponsible for me to have them in this indicator. Therefore, that would be grossly irresponsible. Why would I want to even forget selling you something? Why would I even want to show you something that, why would I even want to show you is not very accurate? Okay, so that's no good. But if I come up with a perfect math formula for me that fits my trading style, if I come up with a perfect math formula that I can put into a bot that doesn't require manual thinking, and that bot happens to be consistent and is working, it would also be irresponsible for me to share it for the same reason it would be irresponsible for me to do it if it didn't work at all. And the reason is because I would be risking my own money, which is not a problem. But I want people to think this is an educational channel, not a follow the leader channel. So what I was thinking about this morning, how do I thread this line between having these stars but not have it be my mathematical rule set? You see, these right here, this is the most important part. It's the red arrows. I didn't invent this mathematical rule set. I didn't invent it. So I'm never going to take credit for it. I made a few minor changes that I think are better, but I'll never take credit for this. This would be my own mathematical formula. And I don't even know if it's going to work. And if it works, what I want to do is I still want people, I don't believe in, I honestly don't really believe in AI or bot trading. So I believe in a computer executing your rule set, which is fine, which is what bot trading is. But it's your rule set. So the one thing I have realized when I woke up this morning, because a lot of people were upset, is that perhaps there will be in the settings, you will be able to use certain rules to come up with your own thoughts on when do you feel the trend is changing. And they don't have to agree with me. Just because I think the green star comes up on this candle, you can change the math rules that cause the star to be there, and it's going to come up one candle earlier or one candle later, or you come up with your own rules. So that's another thing I'm playing with, but this is a work in progress, and you get my unfiltered thinking on what I think about this. I will say that here is the dilemma that shows up. This is a very weird situation, because the first thing I did this morning is when the stock market was popping up, the first thing I did was I checked Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin must be popping to the upside as well. So I go over to the Bitcoin chart. Let's go to the daily chart. Just the daily chart? Yeah. I go over to the Bitcoin chart and I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. S&P is completely crushing it, but Bitcoin is nowhere near in sight. Bitcoin is flat to slightly down, which is incredibly fascinating right now. So we're doing this symmetric triangle. And what does it tell me? That the S&P is popping to the upside? Well, not at the moment. And Bitcoin doesn't. It could mean all signs are pointing to this being a fake. And I don't want to keep making excuses. It's so hard to explain. So many things bother me about the market going higher and higher. I obviously hate being wrong, and I've been wrong on the market significantly pulling back. I'll be the first to admit it. I'll be the first, and I'll be first, last, and everything in between to admit it. So I don't want to keep making excuses. I don't want to be like one of those gloom and doomers that keeps making excuses as to why the stock market keeps rising and it's supposed to be falling. So Bitcoin has actually been pre-running the stock market lately. So Bitcoin's been the one that, Bitcoin is dropping, so the stock market is going to drop. Now, I know it doesn't lead the market, but the same money that moves the market moves Bitcoin, and it's just easier to move Bitcoin. And that money has been very correlated, whether it's buying or selling. By Bitcoin not rising, it's actually making me question how serious is this S&P rise to the upside. Here is the other thing. The first thing I did was I went and I checked Amazon. And Amazon is down today, just like Bitcoin, while the stock market is up. Turn this off. So, see, this indicator is very valuable with or without the stars. The stars is an addition. People are upset that I don't throw in the sprinkles with the ice cream. Stars are an addition. I may or may not release them. Depends on how useful they are or not useful at all. And depends on how much more, how good I can make them. Or can I make them customizable to you? I mean, they're just stars because I have to pick a shape. It doesn't have to stay a star. Amazon tops beautifully with the indicator. But today, Amazon is down. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just Amazon. Let's go take a look at Google. Google is kind of flat. Certainly didn't crush all-time highs, but hey, we hit our arrow. What about Netflix? Down from the big swing high. Big time from even the close. Well, Roku is not that important. I don't know why. I guess Roku is there because it's in a similar industry. What about Apple? Apple is up. So I found one stock. I didn't go through all of them. Hey, Apple hit its arrow. Tesla was the leader. And look, and Tesla's down. So what about Microsoft and Facebook? I'm just looking at the leading companies. Microsoft's doing okay. Now this, I'm actually not sure if this is going to turn red or I'm actually not sure if this is going to turn red or green. Let me do the math in my head. I'll get used to it better. So that would be, actually, I don't even know why there's a yellow arrow there. Let me see if my dev's watching. Let me ask him. And I'm going to ask him, I'm not sure why MSFT has a yellow arrow right now. Okay, so because I provided the math rule set for this, and I'm not sure why this would have a yellow arrow today. Maybe I missed something, but I'm also using my head. The computer is usually right, if the computer was programmed correctly. So nice top here, here, and we didn't get one here. We just missed it. So my conclusion is this. I don't see the leading companies flying to new highs. So I am questioning this candle on the S&P. I'm just questioning this candle. It doesn't seem to be in line with the correlated assets like Bitcoin, like Tesla, like Microsoft that have been driving the bus. Well, Bitcoin hasn't been driving the bus, but there's something weird about this candle. But at the same time, I'm very conscious of not falling into the trap of the perpetual gloom and doomer. Are we printing divergence? We could be. You can clearly see how we are lower on RSI and MACD versus the prior swing high back in June. But we need to reverse. Is this going to end up as one of my abandoned islands candle? So once again, we will be doing entries and stop loss. If you go to learn trading, I just put learn trading there to make it clear. If you go to learn trading and you click on this, that today's candle has the potential of being what I call an abandoned island. And a doji on top of it. So it's an abandoned island with a doji. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. But we have to wait. But here's my other dilemma. I don't have good answers for you guys. I only have more questions and more confusion. My other dilemma is that if this candle closes as is, this yellow star is going to turn green. And the green star tells me that we are changing trend to the upside. And every time lately, I did not trust my green stars, I ended up regretting it because look at how good, I mean, this was bad. Oh, actually, this red star shouldn't be there. The new one takes this out. So I am updating these as we go because there was a red arrow here. So there's no reason to have a red star there. So here, a little scary, but went higher. Little scary, but went higher. Went straight higher, went straight higher. There was a red arrow here in the futures market, not in the cash market. So if I go over to the futures market, this is the 10-minute futures market. We had a, wow, that's a beautiful top at 850. I don't trade pre-market. And now we have a yellow arrow. Oh, interesting. I didn't know this was in the code. I guess we added it already. Oh, now it's gone. Okay. Still working on the code. This red arrow actually doesn't need to be there because this red star doesn't need to be there because this red arrow covers it. It covers this red star. We're still working on a lot of things. But this one didn't work out that great. And this green star should be one candle earlier. They're just not in the code yet. Again, I'm still trying to optimize the trends. This was never part of the indicator. So whether this will or will not be part of the new indicator, I don't know yet. Still something to work on. I'm trying to do my best to stay honest with my followers, provide something useful, but also not to get into a dangerous situation of, providing blind faith into entering and exiting markets. That's not how trading works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be tricky. Anyway, I don't have good answers for you. If I had a trading bot, that trading bot would have gone short here off the red arrow, and that trading bot would probably be exiting me today and for a loss, and most likely taking me into a long trade today, which, if this ends up being an island reversal, opening somewhere below 3,200 tomorrow or below that red line, it would then have a third losing trade in a row. But this is why you have to learn risk management, because if you properly understand risk management, you can have 10 losing trades in a row and still survive as a trader, because that happens. Okay. All right, guys. So before I move on with the rest of the markets, if you guys do want to support, please check out the affiliate page. Willie Woo and the CEO of LVL will both be joining me Thursday night, which is tomorrow night. Thursday night US time, Friday morning Asia time. I also want to have Joe Saz on the show. Maybe even tonight. We may do an aftermarket update because I am very, very interested in how the S&P ends. And Bitcoin is not moving. I mean, we can talk about the short-term Bitcoin chart, but it's not moving. Is my chart not updating? I mean, that's the other thing I'm checking now. No, it's updating. I have a countdown clock here. So we're definitely moving on Bitcoin. It's just not moving. It's working, but it's not working. Nothing's happening. So I don't know. I don't have an explanation at all. Looking at the weekly chart, nothing changes. We're still being held down by this hyperwave wave 7 or this trend line on the log scale chart. Nothing has changed. We are consolidating. Every day I get closer to winning my bet. It's a very, it's not a bet for money. Well, it's a bet for an unreasonably expensive dinner. And it's more of the principle of the bet, where I believed from the first day of this year, we would not close more than 90 days above 10,000 in 2020. And more than 6 months have gone, and we've closed 7 days above 10,000. I think this is a consolidating year. Shitcoins are pumping. I know people want me to look at some of those shitcoins, and I mean, maybe I could. GBTC premium went up a little bit, but I haven't bought into Bitcoin right now either. I'm still waiting for that pullback. Still waiting for a Bitcoin pullback. See, Bitcoin dominance is dropping. Shitcoins are rising. Gold. Let's talk about gold. Here's the daily gold chart. This green star is happening way too late, maybe. Yeah. So that green star probably should not be here. If it didn't happen in this first batch of candles, then it shouldn't show up. Again, my thinking as I'm watching the video and my devs watching the video as well. Oh, I see what happened with the Microsoft star. Okay, we will address that later. So, like I said, I don't want to release something that is bad. So look how bad these stars are on gold. Buying here is terrible. It's almost as bad as selling here, because now you're buying here. This is the only one that worked out, because, oh, well, this star shouldn't be there. This is a bad bullish trade, and this is a bad bearish trade, and this is a bad bullish trade, and this is another bad bullish trade, and that's a terrible bearish trade, and this is a decent bullish trade finally. So if I see that these stars are causing more harm than good for a trader, why on earth would I release it? That would be grossly irresponsible. So don't judge anything yet. Whoa, why am I need water. I'm losing my voice. Hold on. Much better. Okay. So I don't want to release something that's irresponsible. So we have lots of work cut out for us. And if these stars actually help, I still may not release it. It really depends. Because this is new. And it's literally just for me. This is what the indicator is. That's a little bonus. I'll probably release it. You guys, a lot of people don't like me, but almost everything I do is free. Almost. Silver, not interesting. Oh, wait, we didn't even talk about gold. I'm still bullish gold because it's at the high. Yes, there was a red arrow. I'm waiting for a 1 to 4 candle correction, followed by more upside. Okay, now we had some questions. So someone said, is TD Sequential not working on Bitcoin any longer? Well, the TI is different than the TD Sequential. I don't have the TD Sequential. In the future, it's just going to be MRI. This is the transition. It's not about not working. See, it's like saying, are the moving averages not working on Bitcoin anymore? There's no such thing, and I replied in one of my comments yesterday, there's no such thing as a perpetual money printing machine in trading. Even those that have written profitable bots, those bots need to be kept an eye on and adjusted all the time. Nothing works forever for free. So is it not working anymore? Well, the moment you think it's never going to work again, it's going to start working again. So here is the daily chart, and the daily chart has not had anything with the MRI indication. The last time there was an indication on the MRI, well, there's one right here. So there's a couple, right? So if I look at the daily chart, I don't really care about the A. I was debating whether I should leave it or not. We'll make it customizable so people can like turn it off. But there was a red arrow here, didn't do a great job. This one was okay. Actually, that one was very good. This one was very good. And this one, not great. So when you say it's not working, it's not about not working. It's about it just not indicating anything. The moving averages are not working either. They haven't done anything. Like here's a bullish crossover that takes place here. We're at the same price, where everything's consolidating. So not working is a general term. Now look at the weekly chart. The last time the indicator told you to do something was right there, selling right at the top. And this was a top. I think this was a higher top than before. So what was the high here? The high here is 429. What's the high here? 500. So it's almost, this is slightly higher. So, I mean, the indicator called the top, the weekly top candle, like this year, basically. So, and so far we're lower than that. So you can't say that it's useless and it's not working. The stars that I have put in here also worked out okay. This may be dropped. Maybe not. I gotta stop and reverse point. This is also a good stop and reverse point break. So this one is okay. This red star would have worked out nicely. This green star is okay. Came a little bit late, unfortunately. I got to double check the math as always. So I'm not going to say it's not working. Is it working as good as it did for me in 2017 and 2018? No. 2017, this thing was incredible. It was calling tops to like the day, critical tops, the $3,000 top, the $1,800 low off the $3,000 top, the $5,000 top. It called it perfectly. There's the video of me calling a top to within $25 and to within an hour of the top happening. That's how good the indicator was working back then. Is it working as good now? Probably not. Is it still useful? Of course it is. It is to me. It doesn't have to be useful to you. It does seem to work very good on Heikin Ashi, but I just can't get myself to use Heikin Ashi charts. I also don't really understand how to exit and enter trades with Heikin Ashi charts. I need to study it some more. Heikin Ashi charts were not part of my workshop this past Saturday, but maybe I'll add them into the future workshops. Now, the monthly Heikin Ashi is what we've looked at several times before. And the monthly Heikin Ashi, oh, I know what the problem here is. Because it's this. So here is the monthly Heikin Ashi, and it works much better. Now what I need to do is I need to add. See, I'm adding like the MRI indicator, but then I have to update it all over the place because. Huh. Someone already copied me? I don't know what that is. So it's going to have a red arrow there. It's going to have a green arrow down here. And that's the last two times. Wait, that's not Heikin Ashi. No, it is Heikin Ashi. All right, come on. What's going on? I know it's like 3,000 lines of code, but it should still work. Hey, TradingView, if you're watching, please add arrays. Please add arrays into your code base. It's something you learn in Computer Science 101. Please add arrays. Doesn't want to load. Oh, it's the same problem. That's why. Boom. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that star should not be there. Oh, these stars are not going to work with Heikin Ashi at all. Because I know how they're built, and that will not work. So those are useless. Do I have the ability to turn them off? I don't. All right, we'll need that. Yeah, so look, Heikin Ashi, that was a triple. Wow. That's a triple sell. And that's a buy. And that's it. Hasn't shown anything else. Okay, more questions. What is your opinion on the real estate market? I think the real estate market is effed. A crash after the elections. I don't think it has anything to do with the elections. Now, if a socialist gets elected, and I'm using the term loosely, if a Democrat gets elected, which to me is 1 foot closer to the socialist closet, which is 1 foot closer to a C word, I don't want to say, though. Look, when I was younger, I was also voting Democrat. And now that I'm older, I actually understand life. The current demand, I think, is due to the backlog of those waiting due to quarantine. Look, there's a big problem right now. I think that people feel very entitled. So I'm hanging out. I'm getting a haircut, which is no longer illegal. And oh wait, I don't have my camera turned on. I'm actually going to stop screen share. So I'm getting my haircut yesterday, and my barber really wants me to do a stream from his. Hey, you know what? Throw some thumbs up in the live chat. My barber wants me to come to his place for the day and like set up a camera and just interview people coming into his barber chair and just talking about whatever, talking about what they do for a living, talking about Bitcoin, introducing Bitcoin to strangers, and just chatting about COVID and whatever is on people's minds and frustrations, and just sit there, just run like a 6-hour podcast. But now the haircuts are legal-ish, depends on where you are. And maybe we'll do that. I think it's kind of fun. It's just, you know, like chat, have drinks during that podcast. All right, people seem to like that. All right, so we might do that. So I'm getting my, you know, beard trimmed, getting my head shaved. I know I can do it myself, but you know, I'm trying to support my friends in the economy. And he's asking me, Tone, did you file for unemployment during COVID? And I'm like, no, I've been too busy trying to work my ass off and make an honest living. And he says, why didn't you file for unemployment as self-employed? And I said, I didn't know self-employed could get unemployment. And he says, no, they can. And I'm like, well, what about people that haven't technically had a job in years? Because I haven't technically had a job in years. I've just been, you know, self-employed, like without an official job. And he's like, no, it doesn't matter. You can file for unemployment. You can get like $1,000 a week. And I'm like, shit, maybe I should have done that. I did not do that. I didn't take any of the government's money. Unlike corporations that think they're shitcoins, or sorry, shitcoins that think they're not shitcoins corporations, like a Cardano and Zcash. I didn't take the money. But I can probably still file and take the money. And I think people are getting very used to that money. And I actually didn't realize how much money people are getting and what they're doing with it. And I'm also reading that a lot of people are defaulting on their mortgage obligations because people feel entitled. People feel entitled that the government will give them the house. You know, whether they're entitled for one reason or another, I'm not going to get, you know, too political here. But people are getting very entitled with these handouts to the point of, I don't need to pay my bills. The banks are having money printed for them. And therefore, the government's not going to take away my house because the government's not going to make me homeless because of the government shutdown. And therefore, I don't have to pay my mortgage. So what happens in this case is if the people aren't paying their mortgages, how are you going to be able to buy your house? Because people are not going to be selling their home. They're not going to be able to evict any of the renters. Go try and evict someone. If you have someone living in a house right now and they decide not to pay you rent because of COVID, good luck evicting them. So who's gonna buy your house if you have a a squatter living there that isn't paying the bills? If you own a place and you feel that you're privileged, that if you don't pay your mortgage, then the bank is going to give you a break and they're going to give you free money and they're going to cut you a deal, you're not going to be selling that house either. And you're going to blame COVID as to why you can't pay the bills. And this creates a really big problem. This also creates a problem for the banks that are going to, why would a bank give you a loan if you're going to squat in that house and not pay the bills due to COVID? Also, especially in many, I guess, blue states, and who knows who'll get elected next, the government is enjoying the money printing, but they still have to tax the shit out of you. And I can see taxes on real estate significantly rising, which again lowers the price of the real estate. High-priced real estate like California, like San Francisco, like New York, with all the unrest going on, who wants to buy a place in New York right now if it's going to get broken into? So, like, home ownership is becoming less and less interesting, less and less important. If they're going to take away your guns, like what happened to that lawyer couple in Missouri that walked out onto their own property with their guns protecting their home that they own, and now I read an article that the government came and took away their guns. So if you can't protect your private property, I know that's not the case in New York or California where it's hard to get one. So if you can't protect it, why do you own it? So it becomes, especially in the US, right? So it becomes a challenge. It becomes a challenge. I'm listening to all these like people doing protests. We want the government to give us this and that for history. Well, if the government's going to take away your land, why do you want to own that land? So it becomes this big problem as to why own a place. Also, what COVID is doing is it's teaching people that they don't need to work at an office. It's creating more and more remote employees. If you're a remote employee, you can be way more flexible if you don't own your own home, which is like myself. Now I do own my apartment, but I barely live in the apartment that I own because I like the flexibility. Now, if I haven't owned this apartment for the last, 12 or 13 years or whatever I've had it, I wouldn't be buying an apartment today. I would be perfectly fine, limiting the items that I own, not have a permanent place, maybe even get like a trailer somewhere. Like look at Willy Woo. Willy Woo has like an RV, and everything is in the RV, and he's mobile, and he can move that RV around the country. He can probably take it to another country, put it on a shipping container, and take it to another country. And when he doesn't take it, he just, travels and lives remotely. Now, this is a little more challenging to do if you have kids, but I think in the future, even that will be easier to travel with your kids so that you're not tied down to a single location. Now, governments don't want you to move. They don't want freedom of movement. Look at North Korea, look at China, some places. Freedom of movement, look at the US right now. I don't want to get too political. And everyone is lying about the COVID stats from both sides. There are people that are lying, making it look worse so they can enslave you in your own home so that you can't go anywhere. Then there are people that are lying on the opposite side, telling you that it's not a big deal, it's not a big deal. The reality is always in between. COVID is a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as a lot of people think, okay? Now, the amount of deaths that will be caused due to the shutdown, I believe, is significantly higher than the amount of deaths due to COVID directly. The indirect deaths will be higher. Now, it's very difficult to quantify indirect deaths due to even things like suicides and depressions and the economy, which by looking at the stock market doesn't seem to be doing all that bad. But the reality is different. than what the stock market is showing you, because I'm seeing the reality on the ground. Like the economy can't be doing great. Prior to COVID, it was impossible to get evening reservations at a nice restaurant. Now it's easy, very easy. So what does that say about the economy for me? So the stock market is not a great reflection. I always argue with people like Jimmy Song that the stock market is a reflection of the economy. But right now, I'm starting to be on his side here. But again, that could be my bias in thinking that the market needs to correct. Meanwhile, it's just rising to the upside. Thoughts on silver? No different than they were like a couple of years ago. So let me finish on my thought. I probably said a couple of things here that may get this video banned, or maybe my channel suspended already by getting political. Look, people are bullshitting on both sides. However, I know people that say that COVID is completely nothing. I don't agree with that either. I think COVID is serious, but it's more serious for some than others. I would have liked to see it handled differently. I think the way Sweden handled it was perfect. Maybe not perfect, but perfect compared to everyone else that tried to handle it. And here's a toss-up. I don't like the ignore it part, and oh my God, half the world is going to die part. But if I had to pick one of these two sides, I would go with maybe we should ignore it part better, because the other part is so dangerous. The power that some of these politicians are getting by having these lockdowns and quarantines and taking away your rights and taking away your freedoms, you will never get this power back. And that's the dangerous part. So if I had to choose one of the two extremes, I would rather go with COVID is not a big deal extreme versus COVID is the biggest disaster we have ever seen in our lives extreme. Because that extreme is dangerous for future generations. While this extreme, while potentially will, end the life of many grandmas sooner, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt as much the freedom of their grandchildren. So if you have to pick one evil over another evil, I would go with, unfortunately, we have a virus that we don't have a vaccine for. And if you're vulnerable and you are unhealthy and you are and you have a big risk of passing away sooner due to being unhealthy, you need to somehow quarantine yourself. And maybe this is where I would agree with the government saying, hey, you know what? I'm okay paying slightly higher taxes if it means that the government is helping the elderly, let's say, create a service that delivers food to them in a sanitary way so they don't have to go outside. Paying people that work in nursing homes significantly more money, doubling their salary to live in the nursing home and not go back and see their families. Hey, you're working at a nursing home, you don't have a family, or you're willing to stay away from your family for the next 3 months. You have to move into the nursing home. You are quarantined. You are locked down in the nursing home. You can't leave. You have to take care of the elderly, but we will pay you more money for your sacrifice not to see the outside world. That's how it should have been handled, instead of shutting down schools where I have not seen any evidence yet that this is a major health risk to the young and the healthy. So again, that's my view on it. If I had to choose an evil, I would go with the ignore coronavirus evil over let's restrict the freedom of your grandchildren extreme. 98% of COVID positive are asymptomatic. Correct. And a lot of people have had COVID and not even know they had it because the symptoms never showed up. But the more unhealthy you are, and generally the older you are, the more unhealthy you're going to be. That's just life. Welcome to the human life cycle. This is why we die eventually. And yes, the sick and the elderly should have been focused on and taken care of. But you gotta leave the healthy alone. Okay, so here's a good question, because we're getting political again. I do have other work to do, so I can't keep this going forever. Don't you think schools would be a breeding ground, and then those kids would bring it back to their parents? Potentially, it depends on the health of their parents. And remember, I didn't say mandate schools. So those that schools can still be remote. Like, it should be up to the parents and the responsibility of the parents whether they choose to send their kids to that environment, right? Like there should be more responsibility put with the parents. So if you don't want to send your kid to school, your kid should be able to do what they're doing now, doing the material through Zoom remotely. And that would be the choice of the family and the parents. You forget that most people are overweight in the US. No, I didn't forget. No, I'm fully aware of this. I'm fully aware US is very unhealthy, which is why the virus is hitting US harder than many other countries. The more unhealthy your country, the more it's going to hit you. Now, Italy has a very old population. Your view is terribly misinformed. Locking people down and taking away their freedoms is not worth it. It's not. There's nothing about a misinformed view. There's nothing about a misinformed view. You know, I will take my chances at, say, I mean, this virus is nowhere near a 10% death rate if you catch it. Nowhere near to that. If you're healthy, even if it was healthy, I'm all about freedoms for the next 100 years. That's priority. That's priority. All right, enough political stuff. Let's go back to the markets. I have to get off in a few minutes. We've been going an hour. So even a 1% mortality rate is astronomical for a virus. I agree. And this is not even close to a 1% mortality rate. And it would not have been even if there was no lockdowns either, in my opinion, non-professional opinion, obviously. But at the same time, the world has had viruses that were like the Black Plague, that were way more lethal than 1%. And guess what? We survived. You know, like humanity moved on. And the worst part about it is the hypocrisy, right? Like, I can't go get my hair cut, but I can go and protest and stand shoulder to shoulder with 1,000 people. The hypocrisy bothers me the most. California just locked down. Did you guys see videos from like last month where they had like 100,000 people marches? Come on, give me a break. At least be consistent. Okay, so the market is rising. Okay. I have no words. Is Bitcoin moving? It's not. So Bitcoin is not moving, but the stock market is certainly moving. And that I can't explain. This is the first time in months that I witnessed such a huge move in the stock market without a corresponding directional move in Bitcoin. So is the correlation broken? I don't know, but it looks like no one cares about Bitcoin right now, which usually means we're gonna move somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna be smashing 10,000 to the upside or crashing down to 8,000. I don't know. I'm going to keep watching this symmetric triangle on the daily and then see what happens. Problem is that we don't invest in infrastructure to do what you're saying and give people a choice. I would have preferred a hard and short lockdown earlier. Well, again, you preferring a hard and short lockdown earlier could have been a lot harder than you wanted and a lot longer than you wanted. So maybe. But see, there's multiple parts to a lockdown. Maybe the border should have been locked down earlier and that's it. Because from what I've been reading, Trump wanted to close off the border in like January, but it was the Democrats that, screamed, God knows what to prevent him from doing that. So I'm still like bullish on gold, but I'm not in any positions. I don't have any positions right now. I have some GBTC and that's it. And so I hope I explained the stars going forward. It would be irresponsible for me to have them if they are causing more harm than good. But at the same time, I don't want them to be blindly, I don't want people blindly using them for entries and exits. I want people to think for themselves. And if I do want to finally write a bot, and I'd rather just teach people how to trade than provide some kind of a buy and sell signal. Everything I do is to make you be responsible for your own decisions. If you can't be responsible for your own decisions, then you should not be trading. Those that are interested, well, you can support through the affiliate page, but this course is very, very important. It's risk, leverage, and position management. I think it's too many words. I may drop the words leverage and money and just have risk and position management. I don't know, something like that. I'll think about it. I'm going to be updating the Learn Trading section over the next few months. I'm going to add a lot more information here. Again, I want to share as much knowledge as I can for free. And this is it. That's it. Oh, wow. I have so many questions. I totally forgot about them. We are printing bearish divergence on the daily. Yes, I know, but we have to. But the market has to reverse. It's not divergence unless the dollar price reverses. Wonder if Tone has heard about the Chinese fake gold that has begun to sink debtors and is tipped to start a new financial crisis in the CCP. I have not heard that much about it. I mean, I should check if my gold bar is real. No, I'm kidding. I have some gold coins. I'm pretty sure my gold coins are real because they're like American coins. Wow, losing my voice again. Which is not good because I got to do some interviews after this. Yeah, the new indicator on Heikin Ashi charts, those stars don't make sense. They will not make sense because of the Heikin Ashi candles are built. But we took a look at that. Well, yeah, so fake gold is a scandal, but fake Bitcoin seems to be not a scandal. That's what shitcoins are. Shitcoins are fake Bitcoin. So people think that everyone is high on the scam coin link. Here it is. I guess we can use Kraken, right? Oh, that's the USD. Let's go Bitcoin. Well, I don't know if we should use USD or Bitcoin. I have no idea. Wow, even Gemini has it. So what exchange should we use? I guess Binance probably has the most volume. That's where all the shitcoin lovers go to trade now because they have their own shitcoin. I'll look at it versus Bitcoin. I don't know if I should look at it versus the dollar or versus Bitcoin. I have no idea. So here's the daily chart versus Bitcoin. Waiting for the indicators to load. Tops here, new bullish trend here. That's the daily chart. It's topped on a monthly scale. So we can go over to monthly. Oh, so I did cover it long ago. So a while back, I covered it and I drew this bullish triangle. And now you're breaking out of this bullish triangle on a monthly with a star. So yeah, so I was clearly bullish this garbage. I would never buy into it. But right there, I didn't just draw this. This was here. So I don't know, go back to whenever I drew that triangle, probably March or something. I don't know, 5 months. God knows when. I don't know. I don't pay attention to this nonsense. And it's up a few 100%. But on a monthly, it's saying this is the month that it tops. We'll see if it does. The last time we had one of these, clearly it didn't top, and we flew higher the following month. I would never buy into this. This is on you guys. I don't trade scams. Weekly. Ooh, look at that. Though I'm not sure what that yellow arrow means yet. I have to double check. I have a call with my developer. We're still working on this. Still working on, because I was going to have the yellow arrow. Yep, there it is. It's coming in early. Oh, it's already there. I know that was in the code already. Perfect. Okay. So that's a warning sign that next week we could top. That's what that yellow arrow means, which was in my description of the indicator. Yeah, so we could be topping weekly and monthly. We're topping. Daily, we have a few more days. Daily, we have like maybe 4 more days, 4 or 5 more days. Yep. So like 3 more days. So sometime this week, it's going to be, according to the indicator, it's going to be a top on. Yeah, I might have drawn that. I might have drawn that triangle on a weekly scale because I don't normally look at monthly scales. I would have drawn it on a weekly scale. And look at that. Perfect. Oh, come on. Why is this thing like still scrolling the wrong direction? Wow. I would have drawn this triangle probably on a weekly scale. Could have been daily. I don't know. I don't remember.
Almost had it perfect. I can adjust it now in hindsight. Shows you how far back I drew it. Wow, look at that. And that is what you call perfect TA. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Perfect touch, perfect breakout, perfect pullback, and then continuation of the breakout. Hindsight's 2020, but one of my favorite trading styles is ascending and descending triangles. And I would never put this in my presentation as an example, unless I like remove the fact that this is a scam coin from the chart. Just delete this. But this is what an ascending triangle looks like. Perfect ascending triangle. I still don't like trading scams, so I probably would not be trading it. But I don't need that line anymore. I don't remember what it was for, but I've definitely looked at this before. I think it's topping, but I'm not gonna. I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't trade this thing. They're completely manipulated. They're centralized coins controlled by one person, maybe two, at worst 3. Hey, Mike D, I see your comment. Can't discuss it. No comment. All right. All right, guys, it's time for me to go. And I will see you all on the next one.